Hello again, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about Wisconsin Death Trip. Now, that's a film you actually can see on YouTube at the moment. It's on YouTube, so if this interests you, because there's no real spoilers for this is a documentary. If it interests you, you can actually go on YouTube and find it. It's out of print on disc, but it is on YouTube. And it is definitely worth watching. It's only an hour and 15 minutes long, so you're not actually going to be, it's not something that's going to take a lot of your time, but it's definitely worth it. It's really wonderful. I've watched this film quite a few times over the years. It's one of those ones I saw on TV, hadn't taped from TV, then watched it a lot of times, and then finally got out the DVD disc. But because it just has not had the distribution it deserves. It really should have a Criterion or something, or Eureka. Somebody should be doing something with this film. It is so good, and it's just been ignored. Okay, so James Marsh directed it. James Marsh has done other stuff like Man the Wire. He's done some fiction films too. So he's had a career. But this is probably one of his most distinctive films. This is based on a book all about all these deaths took place in Wisconsin in the early part of the century, and it's just about the terrain in this one small area of Wisconsin where there's lots of suicides. A lot of land was sold to foreigners like Swedish and Norwegians to come over to America and start a new life and build a life for themselves. Unfortunately, like a lot of things, like a lot of real estate deals made to foreigners, it was a bit dodgy. The land that they were sold was not great land. It was pretty dodgy land. You have to have farming land that's not really going to develop much for you, so you're pretty much come over to a country where you can't make a living. So you've got a depressive state coming from a place where people were poor in the first place. Now they're going to a new world to try and improve things themselves, try and do something new for themselves, and it didn't work out, like, at all. But it's not about the experience. It's not about a kind of a tactical thing. This went wrong, that went wrong, this went wrong. It's a mid piece. It's about the craziness that happened over a whole year, where there's lots of murder and suicides and people going mad. It's a mood about this one place where everything just went wrong. So it's a look back at a time which we don't really have that great a view of. We've got a view of it, but we've got a view that's probably romantic. And America pre-World War One was a pretty rough time. You had, we had a lot of labour disputes. You had a lot of people going hungry. This was not far before the Big Great Depression, and it was like there was a division between the rich, the very rich, and the poor who had nothing. So what's happening now. We've either got a lot of money or you have nothing. We've got that now again, and this was like extreme, with America not having much like in the way of social contracts with people to try and help them out when they're in trouble. You're basically trying to survive on your own and through difficulties. And it's not good for you. It's not good for your mental health to try and survive in that way. It really isn't. It just makes you... It's a difficult situation. And the film is about that atmosphere of despair. It's not about giving you direct messages of this is why this happened, this is why this happened. It's about the mood of it. It's in black and white for the past sequences. They also go to the place in the 90s when the film was made, so you see what's developed of the town since then, where you just see it's just a suburban town. It's not particularly rich, but it's just people with kids and schools and the PTAs and all the other stuff, and people just remember their lives. Not exactly particularly rich, but not exactly poor either. It's just a town with people in it. But then you go back and see where it came from. Where it came from was hell, really. I mean, there's various stories developed through it of people with sent institutions and people going mad and a child who decides to start shooting people just because someone was not right with him. There was people committing suicide left, right, and centre. It's a guy who gets offered food from these nice women who then kills them all and shoots himself out of guilt. There's a woman who smashes windows constantly every time she takes cocaine. Like, you know, a lot of undiagnosed elements is like the science wasn't that great. I mean, there was a causality of cocaine and doing this window breaking, but it wasn't defined yet. It was always like, okay, that's obviously making her do this. And obviously she was going madder and madder over time. She kept on taking it. This was an educated person who'd been a teacher, who'd fallen hard times and who started to go slowly mad. There was like an opera singer, a famous opera singer came to the region who's also promised good land, and turns out it was dead land. And she had been a great opera singer for a long time, and she'd fallen hard times. She was there with her son, and she was slowly going mad. There was this whole atmosphere of people going mad. There's also things like about a guy in his 60s marrying a 14-year-old girl. Things like that. Just this society that hadn't quite... That was... It's a sense of a society well before our modern reforms came in, where people were left on the road to do things. They either sunk or swim. You know, the rich did okay and they could do what they wanted, while the poor just suffered and were left to go crazy. And it's just this thing, this one area where it was far an excess of suicides and murders and crazy, general crazy, people going crazy, out of economic disaster. And it's a great example of what happens when you have economic disasters, which is happening all over the world now. People have economic disasters everywhere. Communities are suffering all over the place. And this is what it can lead to. This can lead to just craziness. I mean, that's what you see all over the world nowadays. I mean, people go crazy a lot of the time because they don't really have anything. I mean, if you look at a lot in our cities, a lot of the disputes, a lot of the time it's just because people are bored, they don't have anything, they don't have any prospects, and people go crazy, or they become apathetic. And this is the case of when a lot of them just went crazy. And it's just like a haunting look at what humanity actually is, not what we try and project where what we are. So that's what we are. It's like we have a lot of craziness in us. We have a lot of flaws, we have a lot of doubts, you know. We make bad decisions with the hairstyle. And it's about the tragedy of life, especially when we never actually at that point, America did not have any real social care. It was actually just like, survive how you can, we don't care, we've got money, so get lost. It's that kind of thing. That was what they had. And especially in the backdrop towns, no one cared. It was never getting reported. It was just left to rot, basically. It was not no interest to anybody. And it only came to attention because of this book of photographs and reports of all these deaths over this short period of time. So this is a beautiful film. I don't want to say any more about it. I'm just trying to cover it here to get people to watch it, because it is beautiful. It is haunting. It really is a wonderful film. And it is only an hour and 15 minutes. It's perfect time, because I think if we went longer it would get too depressing. I mean, the DVD here has deleted scenes and makings of and commentaries and things. But the running time they've got is perfect for what it is. It's just a beautiful film. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you come back for more. So I'll see you later.